Hello children and welcome to my English class. Today we are going to do a poem from Gulmohar class 8. The poem is titled Failure and it is written by Amos Russell Wells. Before we read the poem, I would like to talk to you about Amos Russell Wells, the poet. Amos Russell Wells was a United States editor, author and professor. He graduated from Antioch College in 1883. He was professor of Greek and geology at Antioch College from 1883 to 1891 and from 1891 editor of the Christian Endeavor World, Boston. This poem is on page number 60 of Gulmohar Golden Jubilee edition. The poem talks about failure in its various forms and the corresponding ways to conquer it. Before starting the poem, let us come to the section before you read. Arunima Sinha suffered serious injuries to her spine and lost a leg in a train accident. Despite this, she went on to climb and conquer Mount Everest and then the highest mountain peak in every continent. The questions given for discussion are: why did she choose to stick to her dream? And what do you think was her attitude to her disability? The purpose of the questions here is to make the children aware that it is not that Arunima did not face any difficulties or failures while pursuing her dream, but it was her grit, her determination, courage, perseverance, and many other factors that made her do the unimaginable. Now, as I read the poem and explain it simultaneously, please pay attention to the pronunciation and diction and also the stress and intonation with which I read the poem. Failure is a rocky hill. Climb it with a will. In these lines, the poet compares failure to a rocky hill, which is challenging to climb but is not insurmountable. That is, it is not impossible to climb upon it and come out victorious. Instead, these obstacles require us to put in more effort or think differently to overcome them. But they cannot stop us. The only thing we need to have is a strong will and determination. Failure is a broken bone. Set it, grin, and do not groan. Children, in these pictures, you can see that there are two children with broken arms. One is grinning, that is smiling broadly, although he is in equivalent pain as the other. But the other child has a groaning face. He is very sad about what he has suffered. So the poet says that failure is like a broken bone. The only thing you need to do here is to set it right, go to a doctor, get it set all right, and smile broadly even in pain. And do not groan, do not feel sad about it. Failure is a tangled string. Puzzle out the knotted thing. Children, failure can also seem like a tangled string. It refers to a situation that is difficult to navigate or a situation where nothing is clear and it is totally confusing. So instead of getting confused in that situation, let us treat it like a knotted string. A string which has lots of knots in it, and you need to very patiently untangle each and every knot. In the same manner, you should treat failure. When you face failure, look into the reasons why you failed and then think about probable solutions. Failure is a river swift. Swim it, swim and do not drift. Failure can also feel like a very fast flowing river, a swift river. So you are suggested not to drift with the flow, but to try hard, put all your strength into it, swim according to your wish and not along with the current of the river. Failure is a black morass. Cross it. There are tufts of grass. Failure could also feel like an area of muddy ground or a swamp which does not have solid ground underneath, and if you step on it, you are sure to slowly and gradually get inside that muddy area, and it is very difficult to come out of it. So here the poet suggests that holding on to the tufts of grass, holding on to the bunches of grass that are there, you hold on to them and come out, cross the black morass and do not get drowned in its mud. Failure is a treacherous pit. Scramble, clamber out of it. Here, the poet wishes to say that when we are chasing a mission, when we are chasing an aim, there'll be dangers that will be hidden or unpredictable, which you don't even think about, but they are there in your way. So he calls them a treacherous pit, a dangerous hidden pit, or a hole in the ground, and even if we fall into it, we should scramble with all our might, all our efforts. We should scramble, though it will be difficult, but we should climb out of it, though with difficulty. Failure is an inky night. Sing, expect the morning light. Failure may also seem like an inky night, a pitch black night, which seems to have no end and which seems to be really, really long. But in such a night, we should sing along, because singing here denotes hope. It signifies having the fortitude and hope to weather adversities and wait for the right opportunity. Failure is an ugly coal. Fuse it to a diamond soul. The poet says that failure may also look like a dark piece of coal, which is not pleasing to look at and it leaves stains everywhere you put it. But the purpose of this dark piece of coal is to take it and then make it bright and beautiful by merging it with success, to make your soul shine like a diamond. Because diamonds were also once pieces of coal that transformed into diamonds under intense pressure and temperature. Therefore, when we face failure, we must not give up or feel sad or sorrowful. Instead, take failure as an opportunity to do better and come out shining like the diamond does. That brings us to the end of this poem. Now is the time to discuss the poetic devices used. This poem is a combination of couplets, means two lines of equal length used one after the other. So each couplet rhymes, therefore the rhyme scheme here is AA, BB and so on. The second poetic device is metaphor, where the style is metaphorical and failure is being compared to various things, for example, a rocky hill, a tangled string, etc. Then is alliteration, where two consonant sounds are repeated one after the other, like broken bone and grin and groan. And then there is repetition, especially the repetition of the word failure, which is used again and again to intensify the mood or feeling of the poem. Last but not the least, the message of the poem. The poem talks about failure in its various forms and the corresponding ways to conquer it. It encourages us to conquer failure with determination and courage, perseverance and patience, and by keeping faith in ourselves. The opening phrase brings the attention of the reader to what failure feels like to many of us. When our hopes and aspirations are crushed, we feel at a loss and find it difficult to gather ourselves. We should overcome the situation by analyzing where we had gone wrong and set things right. That brings us to the end of this video. If you want to watch more such videos, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.